United States submarine base at Key West, Florida. A dispatch that quoted President Truman's press secretary, Charles Ross, as saying that President Truman has no knowledge of any secret project by this government that would give substance to the existence of such objects. Ross also said that both the Air Force and the Navy deny that such objects exist.
I always sound good, and I never disrupt the episodes with my loud breathing.
That's a lie, and that's okay, because you said it, and we all know the truth.
Oh my God.
The best part about that situation was how immediately vindicated I was when you heard it back.
I swear I hadn't. The thing that got me was I don't do anything different ever. I put on the headphones and then we just start to record. So the fact that something was happening when I've literally done nothing different was getting me. And then I heard it and I heard how obnoxious it was.
Yeah, it was so loud.
Man.
I think it honestly was just the mic was too close to your mouth breathing.
Yeah, probably. Also, I'm just going to apologize at the very jump. Like, if anyone hears whining or like the click clacking of nails or like having breathing, I am babysitting my dad's deaf dog. And I think he genuinely doesn't understand how like obtuse he is. Here he comes. But he's a good boy.
The only thing that made a sound just now was your heavy breathing. So
was it? Okay.
Once again, let's stop blaming other people for our shortcomings.
All right.
Hey, what's up? My name's Noelle, and for one of the first times, I would say, in recent podcast history, this episode got a little bit away from me.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, and how would you know unless we told you, but when I was like, hey, you ready to record? You were just like, yep, this one gets insane. And that was all I had heard from you. Like, we confirmed what time we were going to record, and then time passed, and then all of a sudden it had gotten away from you. I'm personally very excited.
You should be. I think that I don't mean to... we've gotten a lot of requests for other things, and it has not been this. This is exclusively from me and like one conversation I had with someone somewhere, if it's you, shout out, said to me, hey, do you know about like the Shen cult? And I was like, the Shen cult? And they're like, yeah, you know, that dance company thing. And I was like, I don't know about the third word in the sentence you said, but I do know about like Shen Yu. Like I see the billboard every time I'm driving on I-15. Yeah, I think they're going to be in Salt Lake in March. And it's like that woman doing like a ballerina jump across the billboard in what I would assume is like some sort of traditional Chinese attire.
Yeah, it just looks like Chinese ballet. Maybe with a little bit of rhythmic gymnastics thrown in. But yeah, I see it every time I go into Salt Lake. There's that big billboard. And I know you and I talked about this like so briefly, probably a year or two ago, where I Googled it to start an episode. And then much like episodes immediately got pulled into something else. We obviously didn't cover it and then never talked about it again until today. So
yeah, here we go. It's
all right. I'm stupid. What is Shen Yun?
Well, let's talk about everything, because to understand Shen Yun, you have to understand Falun Gong.
Shen Yun. All right. I'm going to do my best to not westernize how it's pronounced.
Don't westernize.
Please try not to. I already know that I'm more nasally than usual because I can just feel the air that's supposed to be coming out of my nostrils, just like making really loud squeegee noises as it escapes from my ear holes. So
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Man. I've had a week. All right.
Oh my fucking God. Yeah. Shout out Patreon for that week. It's got some shocks and turns and twists. We love to see it. Anyway. So this is a quote from Insider Magazine. The cryptic advertisements usually feature a woman gliding through the air in front of a lavender background. They bear the slogan, 5,000 years of civilization reborn. It seems to be an ad for a dance performance, but Shen Yin, as it turns out, isn't just a dance show. It's also part of an elaborate messaging strategy for Falun Gong, a Chinese religious and political group persecuted within China that opposes the country's ruling party.
Well, that doesn't sound so bad.
I know, right? Maybe. We'll find out.
It does. Okay, just that slogan alone, 5,000 years of civilization reborn, I would think that this would be like a modern museum exhibit. That's what my interpretation would be.
I think that's what they want you to think too.
Okay. So they've already got me.
Yeah, they get hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, no.
So how exactly did this, persecuted Chinese political and religious organization start a dance show that became a meme and marketing juggernaut in the US? And what does any of this have to do with harvesting organs?
Okay. The harvesting organs part could get me, but if I think of museums, I like to think of mummies. There's a lot of organ stuff there. So I still could be on board. I could still tiptoe my way to a conclusion where some of this could be acceptable.
I mean, we'll see.
But I didn't expect that.
I'm with you. Up until now, I'm not a fan. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So to understand Shen, we first need to start talking about Falun Gong. Founded by, I'm not even gonna
do it.
Li Hongzai?
That's honestly how I would pronounce it. I know it's wrong, but that's how I would pronounce it.
Might be right then. Li Hongzai.
I don't know. The NGZH altogether, I feel, just all those consonants put together, I feel like they must marry in a way
that our smooth-brained American
our public school. Yeah,
I agree. So apologies, or maybe not.
Maybe. I'm not going to apologize to the Chinese government anytime soon. So let's just see how it goes.
This isn't the Chinese government. So this is the founder of Falun Gong.
Okay.
And he founded it in the early 1900s.
All right.
The Chinese government now has classified Falun Gong as a cult, and it is banned by the government. They have stated, quote, the organization preaches... I can't.
Sound it out.
It's heretic, but it's heretic, but
Is it just heretical?
Is that how you say it?
That's how I would say it.
Heretical. Fallacies that are anti-humanity and anti-science and exercise extreme mental manipulation of followers. It is a cult that seriously harms the society and violates human rights and is a cancer in the body of the modern and civilized society.
Dare I say, pot calling the kettle black in terms of harming society and violating human rights.
That is something I completely agree with. I do think it's a little silly. The Chinese government is in a silly, goofy mood when they said that.
Yeah.
Especially when we get into what happens in the mid 90s. But, okay. Shen Yun, remember the dance?
Yes.
Performing Arts is based in New York and founded by Falun Gong members in 2006. They state that they're... Was it 2006?
It's the year I graduated high school.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, cool. Great. That's it. That's wonderful.
That was literally it. First time I ever went to Disneyland, too.
Well, now I hate it. They state that their mission is to use performing arts to revive the essence of Chinese culture, traditionally considered a divinely inspired civilization. They claim that because the CCP, or Chinese Communist Party, is officially an atheist regime, it's afraid of the freedom of religious expression Shen Yun enjoys in the West. The Shen Yun Performing Arts / Falun Gong state that the CCP is actively trying to push anti-Falun Gong messaging in the US as they did in China. So, pause here. Falun Gong is this... And I'm going to talk about a little bit more about what they do, what they practice. But they are I don't know if they would call themselves a religious organization, or more like a way of life. They pick from Taoist, Buddhist, and Dharma related.
So generally peaceful religions.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know too much about Taoism. I know their leader was supposedly born in his 60s. But when coming to terms with religion, the like origin story of its leader, I feel like is like something you just don't really nitpick about.
Yeah, I mean, like it's more. I mean, they're kind of like meditation and
yeah,
like
so Tai far they sound fine, because anytime it would be like if North Korea was like criticizing something, you know, it's like, oh, it must be pretty decent. So the whole organ harvesting thing I got to see the proof. I mean, technically a lot of people believe that Planned Parenthood harvests organs. So on the fence now, have yet to be convinced, but I look forward to further evidence.
You're making assumptions, which is funny to hear, because I didn't say who did the organ harvesting. They're just involved in some way.
Well, I mean, you said it in the sentence. What does all of this have to do with harvesting organs? So I just
exactly.
All right. No, I'm making an ass out of you and I.
Your preconceived notions are jumping out.
Okay.
But I will agree. Like they're not like right now. They're not bad. Like okay, you want to meditate and do heavy breathing exercises.
They're definitely
believe in karma. And
they're definitely pre-Vatican involvement Mother Teresa at this point.
For sure, 1,000%. Yeah,
not so bad so far.
Yeah, and even when you look at the Chinese Communist Party's like current standing of cults, Falun Gong is like number 1, and they have 0 reports of violence or killings. And underneath them in spots 2 and 3 are these like actual death cult organizations. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what are you guys tripping about?
Right. Yeah. What's so dangerous about them so far? Other than maybe they're successful in their teachings?
I would kind of agree with that.
Okay.
So, Falun Gong, the organization, religion, practice of spirituality, whatever you want to call it, they created Shen when they were I don't want to say exiled, when they came to the U.S. for religious freedom, essentially. And
this was probably early 1900s then? When they came here?
This was, that was 2006. So the organization was founded in the 1990s, or I'm losing my mind, in the early 1900s, but the persecution of them from the Chinese Communist Party started happening in the 90s because they were initially supported. Like the Chinese Communist Party initially supported them. They're like, love your shit, you guys. Love meditation, love the idea of like good karma and bad karma, like love that shit. They are big into like exercise and wellness. They're like totally fine.
It'd be like the Irish coming out against Riverdance. It's like, why are you making an enemy out of these people? They're not doing anything. Okay.
But there was a persecution, which we'll go over a little bit more in a second once I get past their logo, that brought these practitioners of Falun Gong to the U.S., and in 2006, they founded the Shenyun Performing Arts in New York. And New York is also where the base is currently of Falun Gong.
Okay.
And the Shenyun performance is a retelling of the beliefs and practices and start of Falun Gong. Does that make sense?
So Shenyun started Falun Gong.
Shenyun is
like the umbrella.
No, it's the dance performance. It's like if the Book of Mormon, the musical, was actually just a musical of the Book of Mormon.
Okay.
It would be like that.
So almost like a propaganda and a performance machine.
Exactly.
All right.
That's exactly what it is. Shenyun is a propaganda performance of this telling of the organization and beliefs of Falun Gong.
Alrighty.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Cool. It does now. I'm slowly digesting here.
It's a lot. It's only going to get worse. Anyway, before we talk about the what ifs and who's whats of Falun Gong, And in doing that, Shen, I want to show you their emblem.
Okay, let me look at this.
Because I have feelings about it, and I would also suggest people look up Falun Gong's emblem, because I will not be posting it anywhere online. And why is that, Chelsea? Why wouldn't I?
Oh my god, it's up to its ears in swastikas.
You better fucking believe it,
has
babes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 swastikas on it, but 4 yin-yang signs.
I don't know if 4 yin-yang signs cancel out 5 swastikas.
I don't think so. Also, if this were an older symbol of the organization, sometimes like in India, they have swastikas, or like in other religions, they have it. And they're like, this has been a symbol of 500 years. This was made in like what, the 1990s? The 1990s?
Well, I don't know when know when they designed the logo, but okay. I will give them that. I don't know when it was designed.
The precedent of the Holocaust, I think, does have the biggest dick here. Like, you just it's hard to digest a swastika. It's just, I can't digest it.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about that. So this is from your favorite source, Britannica.com.
Flawless source. You can always trust the British on their
takes about swastikas.
Well, just on their worldviews that tend to not be tainted by their own bias. That's what I can trust from the British, if I know anything about culture that I learned in public school.
The earliest known use of the swastika symbol, an equilateral cross with arms bent to the right at 90-degree angles, just in case anyone was wondering what it looked like, were discovered carved on a 15,000-year-old ivory figurine of a bird made from a mammoth tusk. The ancient engraving is hypothesized to have been used for fertility and health purposes. The pattern similar to the one that is found naturally occurring on the mammoth, an animal that has been regarded as a symbol of fertility. From its earliest conception, the symbol is believed to have been positive and encouraging of life. The modern name for the icon, derivative from the Sanskrit savastika, meaning conducive to well-being, it has been used by cultures around the world from a myriad different purposes throughout history as a symbol in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, I went to public school. As a stylized cross in Christianity, in ancient Asian cultures, as a pattern in art, in Greek currency, in medieval Renaissance, in bark architecture, on an Iron Age artifacts. It has almost been around everywhere, is essentially what we can agree.
It definitely has been. When I look at, you can like look at ancient swastikas, from different cultures. Like it's in Hinduism, it's Greek, Jewish, Lapland, Islamic, Japanese, Tibetan, Hopi, Aztec. It's in everything, but some of them, they're clearly more stylized. Like if I were to send you a screenshot of like the Japanese swastika or even like the Lapland swastika, I dare say you would be, you wouldn't initially think swastika, I think. But
I mean, and that's the other thing is like when you look at the Falun Gong emblem in the middle. So this is the other tough pill to swallow. It's like a red circle in the middle with a yellow hard swastika.
It's a hard swastika.
Swastika. And what is, the swastika that we think of that comes to mind, that also had a red background and hard lines.
Yeah.
While surrounding that are like the softer swastikas next to yin and yang signs, which is all cute and fine and whatever. But, it's a tough pill to swallow. And that might be because if we can recall a little mustachioed cunt around 1920 in Germany deciding to take this symbol of peace and turn it into the most horrific, hateful, vile symbol of racism and bigotry when he turned it into the Nazi party symbol.
It's been tainted. People who are like, no, it's not. It meant this before. I mean, I'm sure that's fine. It's been tainted, man. The water supply has been, I don't know, the punch has been spiked. You can't drink it anymore. You just got to throw that batch out and find something else to hydrate with.
I completely agree. Ugh. I completely agree. And like, I get it. Like, I do understand the want to reclaim the symbol. Maybe if it was just a hate group who didn't actually do anything, I would be like, yeah, let's take it back. But the fact that more than 6 million Jews died with this symbol attached to the reasoning, potentially being one of the last things they saw, I think we need to let it the fuck go.
I agree. It's it had a run in history, and now we just don't. It had a run. It had a run.
Just like his mustache. We gotta let it die. You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe Charlie Chaplin really liked that look too, but then he wore it, and we gotta just, that sucks that he ruined it for everyone, but we just gotta let it go. And I understand that some people might have a problem with that, because this swastika has such a tied-in meaning with other cultures. But I would say, maybe take a day, go check out a Holocaust museum, and then come back and try to defend the reclaiming of the swastika. Because everything that it did stand for, like peace and harmony, that's tainted when 6 million people were killed because of it.
It's not, it's not going to be reclaimed during our time, I don't think.
No.
So.
No, I don't think it should be. So, anyway, peace and love, not trying to judge. This is just my feedback to them.
I mean, I'll judge a little.
To know them more.
Swastika.
And also just, I know this probably wasn't their intention, but remember just keep it in the back pocket. Their logo, keep it in your back pocket.
Okay.
Falun Gong has its global headquarters in Dragon Springs, a 40-acre compound around Deer Park, New York, near the current residence of Lee. Remember him?
The founder. Yeah.
I don't remember how to say his name anymore. Falun Gong combines meditation and meditation exercises. They have the way they pronounce it, but I'm, public school.
Is it just Qigong? It's like Qi, like how some people say Qi or Qi.
Yeah.
I feel like it depends, but it looks like it's either Qigong or Qigong. Y'all, these are
I didn't go to anywhere that had a good educational system, and I barely know English, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Blame the infrastructure around me. So they're doing meditation exercises with a moral philosophy, and they emphasized morality and the cultivation of virtue. They identify as practitioners of the Buddhist school of thought, but also draw from Taoist traditions, like I said before. And they believe through moral rectitude, which is behavior that is correct, upright, and honorable, and the practice of meditation, they can aspire to eliminate attachments and ultimately achieve spiritual enlightenment.
Oh, like Jedi.
Kind of, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And like I said, again, initially the Chinese Communist Party supported them.
Other than the symbolism that is obviously a modern take, but prior to World War II, I could see why this is so far not problematic.
Yeah, I agree. I'll agree with you there. I would say even historically, they weren't problematic, even with what I'm about to say. So, by the mid to late 1990s, the Chinese Communist Party began to view them as a potential threat due to size and independence and spiritual teachings, essentially. Okay. And by 1999, the government estimated that there were 70 million practitioners of Falun Gong.
I'm curious how many Mormons are in the world.
Oh, that's a good question. And this is essentially it, a little bit. Just the size alone started to give the Chinese Communist Party a bit of feelings of insecurity and a little bit of a threat of power. And that is why in July of 1999, specifically the 20th, they began a crackdown on Falun Gong. They started with blocking internet access to websites that mentioned them, and then started to just talk shit on state-run media shows and papers. Just a full-blown attack against them on every form of media.
And it's just that they decided to do a crackdown. Like, had they done anything prior to this to like trigger a crackdown, or was it just the Chinese government fearing their growth?
It was the Chinese government fearing their growth.
Okay. Because I Googled it and there's about 16 million, just short of 17 million Mormons, according to the internet.
Oh, so, yeah. 70 million?
Yeah. I thought that if there was like a West Side Story snap fight that the Mormons could take them, but I stand corrected. They would be overrun.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. And I do think that was kind of like, I mean, overrun is the best way to describe it. I think if we want to talk about it in like where does the fear come from? Like, why has the Chinese Communist Party put these guys at number one, basically on their like FBI's most wanted list? Mm-hmm. They put these guys at number one, who have like no deaths on record, no criminal history or background. Why are they number one when like right below them are actual like cult death gangs? Like, what, what's the big scare here?
The Chinese military has 915,000 active duty troops with about 486,000 active soldiers. I bet that's why. Just fear and strength of numbers.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Anything that can like overthrow your like communist regime.
Yeah, and think about China in the 1990s. Like, China needed to be a well-oiled machine to play in the game of industrialization. Like, they had taken, at this point, almost all of our, peace and love, like labor, and this was taking them out of poverty, essentially. They were coming online, if you will.
Yeah.
And what would threaten them more than 70 million believers of a religion that kind of goes against everything you believe in and stand for a little bit? Like, not necessarily, but the CCP is an atheist organization at its core, because it like can't stand on the pillars of believing in like a higher power and heaven and all this kind of like this karma and like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you're going to strategize your country as a machine, you can't have them believing in like this. So
yeah, I would agree. And especially like China in the 90s was like when we started to get the boom that is China now. Cause like before it was very much run by other foreign interests. And then this is kind of when it started to turn on its head and it turned into like the superpower that we know it today. But economic development that fast is also going to lead to like corruption and unemployment. And whenever you get a government not doing well is going to breed religious movements.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So I guess I can see that. So that would be the enemy. They wanted industrialism, and the enemy of industrialism, I guess, would be spirituality.
I would agree to that. Especially because like Falun Gong is very much about taking care of yourself and physical and mental wellness, and like kind of checking in with yourself and meditating. And that's not really a principle if you are trying to harbor this, 14-hour workday. You don't fucking sleep, no days off, working 7 days a week. If you're trying to harbor that, the culture of industry and labor and work in China is like you'll be on the train and see people getting the only sleep they'll get on their commute to their job, and like no one fucks with them because that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You could not get there if you had a religious or whatever we would call it, spiritual organization that practiced physical and mental wellness and awareness, and that no one's going to stop production so you can do like hot yoga.
Well, not to get too hokey, but like this would have been like only less than a decade after like the one child policy ended. So now you get people like, what's more symbolic of like physical freedom other than dancing. You know what I mean? Like I could see this as like direct opposition to what the Chinese government was trying to be at that point, especially since most of the face of the whole campaign has always been women.
Yeah. No, for sure.
I could definitely see that being oppositional.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Okay. So, July 20th, 1999, we've got that crackdown. By October of that year, they declared Falun Gong a, there's my word again, heretical organization.
Do you want me to look up how to say it?
How do you say it?
I'm going to look heretical? It up. So what I do whenever I stumble across a word is I look it up on YouTube, like how to pronounce it, and then I write it phonetically the rest of the episode. I think it is heretical, but now you've got me all weirded out.
Because it doesn't sound right. I don't know.
All right, here we go. Heretical.
Heretical, believing. Heretical. I told you it was heretic with it all.
Heretical.
Because
you're like flow right. Heretical.
That's what I'm saying. Because you're a heretic.
It sounds like heretical.
That's what I said in the beginning. I was like, it's heretic with ol, but
heretical.
Either way, it's believing in or practicing religious heresy. So I knew I was right. God, I just need to trust my gut, you know?
Don't listen to me, man. I have the traumatic brain injury. I'm barely holding it together.
That's true.
I'm like hearing colors at this point.
It sounds great, though. So, heretical organization.
Heretical.
That threatened social stability. Falun Gong members in China were reportedly subject to a wide range of human rights abuses. Hundreds of thousands are estimated to have been imprisoned extrajudicially, forced into labor punishment, abused, tortured, and overall just like fucked up.
This isn't surprising because this is going on in China right now, right? Like, didn't they just do it with a whole bunch of like the Muslim population there? And that's why there was like so many protests about Mulan, the new Disney movie.
I don't know about that, but I do know that China did have a big old nasty fucking problem with labor camps. And, maybe a little something they picked up off of North Korea. I do know that they've closed a bunch of them because there's been more visibility into what they're doing, and they're trying to get on that westernized train of tourism being another source of income for your country. So they've got to close some of these labor camps.
I just Googled it, but Mulan was officially like boycotted by a bunch of people because they filmed on location in the Xinjiang region where the film was shot. But that region is notorious for China's crackdowns on freedoms in Hong Kong and also the treatment of Uyghur Muslims in that region. Basically like internment camps, and that's where they filmed Mulan. People were like, why are you giving money to like cheap labor that's like essentially, and then also
prison labor.
Yeah, it's essentially prison labor. So again, just
well, here's the thing, peace and love. Anytime you're fucking with China, there's shady fucking shit going on. Like, that's just it's what it is. Like, it sucks to say and admit, but also, like, we can't sit here on our high horse and be like, well, here in America, the red scare of China, because, babes, we do the same fucking thing. They're imprisoning people and forcing them to do prison labor for free. Oh, you mean like that thing that privatized prisons in the United States do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, weird. That's fucking weird. Oh, kissing cousins, like just definitely, because we call what China does like labor camps, and then we call it here prison jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or Guantanamo Bay, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, come on.
It's just hard to, it's always so much easier to be like the us versus them. Like, well, at least we do X, Y, Z. But yeah, you're right. Like, when you slice it, like what we're doing is not a far cry. Our propaganda machine is succeeding over here.
Yeah.
For how we frame it.
Yeah. Oh, they tortured this people of like this religious organization. Oh, do you guys remember what we did after World War II to all of our Japanese immigrants? Oh,
yeah,
we
or
put them in
fucking
fucking
Waco.
camps. Yeah, come on. Like, or even the fact that we can't even prosecute the human rights violations and torture techniques that happened in Guantanamo Bay because we have to set up our own special Guantanamo like basically trial jury and what is that called when you watch a trial?
What if
What is that called? Like the jurors, yeah. Like they have to set up.
What are you saying? Like
I'm having a stroke.
Like what a jury does?
Yeah, the tribunal. They have to set up their own Guantanamo tribunal because if they were to follow the same judiciary process that we like normally have, everyone would go to prison forever for doing the same shit that fucking Hitler did.
I was trying to really simplify this pissing contest in a term of like whose national animal symbol would win. And I'm like, the eagle, man. The eagle's so fucking dope. China has the fucking dragon. We're going to get our ass kicked just
we're fucked. Yeah, we're fucked from
unless it's like the eagles from Lord of the Rings. Who's to say?
We need clarification. But also, weren't we trying to make the symbol of the United States the turkey? So like
Benjamin fucking Franklin wasn't he?
Yeah.
The guy took like light baths. He took sun baths. I'm not down for that hippie shit.
It's better than the no baths everyone else was taking.
Yeah, Europeans, we took baths.
But anyway, all I'm saying is like, yeah, this is so fucking horrible, but like, you know, let's all in the name of Mulan, like take a look at the reflection. You know what I mean?
Yeah, who is that girl I see?
Who is that girl I see? You know? Looking back at me. So
when will my reflection show who I am inside?
I'm sure inside, baby. Yeah. You know? You peel back that, like...
You take your sleeve and you perfectly wipe off exactly 50% of your makeup during a musical breakdown?
Yeah. You pull back that Chinese Communist Party flag, and what do you see?
Red, white, and blue, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, these peace and love, terrible things did happen to Falun Gong.
But I will say America's better just because my ethnocentrism.
I mean...
No, I'll edit that part out.
Nope, you better leave it. So, I mean, like, terrible shit fucking happened to them. Like, let's not play that down. Let's feel bad, okay? As of 2009, human rights groups estimated that at least 2,000 Falun Gong members had died within China as a result of abuse in custody.
So like 20 times that probably.
I would also like to know, if you'd want to look this up, how many people have died in custody in the United States. I just want to keep everything real fucking, because like like how many people have died in police custody
from 2007 to 2010. I don't know why that's not updated, but from 2007 to 2010, the Bureau of Justice Statistics says 17,358.
Oh, 17,000 versus 2,000. Okay.
But we also have an entire bureau to report that. I don't know how much I'm going to trust the numbers coming out of something where I would say the boot on the throat of reporting those types of things, maybe just have a little bit more pressure.
Yeah. I mean, also maybe times 3. You know what I mean? It's like when you go to the doctor and they say, how much do you drink? And then whatever you say, they times by 3. Like, let's do the same thing here. But it's like an independent human rights group estimated that at least 2,000 Falun Gong members had died in China as a result of abuse in custody, which is a mere fraction in comparison to what the USA, you know what I mean? Like, let's just remember. One, I just don't want to be on like the Trump train of making people afraid of China. That's all I'm trying to do here. Do you know what I mean?
I think what am I trying to say? I just think Chinese government
in a scope, you know, like we hear these big numbers and we're like, scary. But then we look at it also like, How many people are currently incarcerated in the United States?
You point the finger
for nonviolent crimes. Exactly.
Yeah.
How many people died in custody in the United States from nonviolent crimes?
Yeah, it's just the vocabulary you use to describe it. I mean,
so, it's not good.
This next sentence is heavy. I don't think we have an organ transplant industry.
Do we?
I don't know. Oh my God, it's Pizzagate all over again. I know.
So, while independent human rights group estimated that at least 2,000 members of Falun Gong died in custody, one writer estimates that tens of thousands may have been killed to supply China's organ transplant industry.
Oh my God, it's Repo the genetic Shen Yun.
I'll be real with you, I've never seen Repo, and really? I refuse to at this time because everyone thinks that it must have formed me as a child, that's why I am the way I am, but I actually never saw it, and so I refuse to now.
No, let's watch it, but not tell anyone that you watched it, because I do think it's fun.
I will not.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you fucking made me watch so much stupid shit. Okay. And do episodes on it. So now everybody knows I watched Assassin AD. I can't even get away from that, but you won't privately watch.
Don't even bring Assassin AD into this. So, did you hear that? Organ transplant industry. Yeah, that's our tie-in. That's our tie-in. Okay. From the beginning?
We're starting to go down the road less traveled. We're hitting the Robert Frost,
oh, absolutely.
Section of the fork in the road.
Strap the fuck in. So, and this is all allegedly.
Yeah, big quotes.
Allegedly. There have been, and this is all from this, peer-reviewed journal. There have been allegations of forced organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners and other political prisoners in China, according to a report by former lawmaker David Kilgore, human rights lawyer David Mattis, and Ethan Gutman of the U.S. government think tank named Victims of Communist Memorial Foundation. Claim that political prisoners, mainly Falun Gong practitioners, are being executed, quote, on demand in order to provide organs for transplant to recipients. Research undertaken by the Washington Post has contradicted these allegations by showing that China does not import sufficient quantities of immunosuppressant drugs used by transplant recipients to carry out the alleged organ harvesting.
Oh, you fucking nerds. They're going to report, they're going to go organ harvesting and then keep that under the rug, but then lead them, I don't know, have to smoke.
So here's the thing. I don't want to spoil the twist that's going to come. So just remember for me to come back to that paragraph specifically and talk about why I'm fucking don't know how to think. Okay, so just remember
I'm just going to say, if someone's stealing cars and they're doing it fucking great, they're not also going to be robbing gas stations in a really sloppy manner.
I know what you're saying, but I just have a little bit more information than you. So you do. It's a tough. Okay.
I'm just suspicious.
I am too of all of it, dude. It gets so much worse. So the Chinese, still going on. The Chinese government denies accusations of organ harvesting
as usual.
As they probably would. The parliaments of Canada and the European Union, as well as the United States House of Representatives, have adopted resolutions condemning alleged forced organ harvesting from Falun Gong. This is so fun. It's the most medium yellow card call out because it's all accusations, so they can't actually say. They just have to be we don't know if you are, but if you are, we don't like it.
We're going to spend tons of money to push this through the fucking House of Representatives.
It's so weird.
Our government is paying people to keep an eye on this. We are paying fractions of a penny each year to keep an eye on organ harvesting in China.
Probably. United Nations special reporters have called on the Chinese government to account for the sources of organs used in transplant practices, and the World Medical Association, the American Society of Transplant, and the Transplant Society have called for sanction on Chinese medical authorities. So basically, like, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. Let's break that down. Everywhere in the world where you can get a transplant, they're basically like sanctions on anything coming from China, even though we don't have like full proof. It's very weird. Several countries have also taken or considered measures to deter their citizens from traveling to China for the purposes of obtaining organs. A documentary on alleged organ harvesting from Falun Gong practitioners titled Human Harvest received a 2014 Peabody Award recognizing excellence in broadcast journalism. In December of 2018, a tribunal in London chaired by British Sir Geoffrey Nice, concluded unanimously and sure beyond reasonable doubt that in China, forced organ harvesting from prisoners has been practiced for a substantial period of time involving a very substantial number of victims.
I'm like all in because even just the sanctioning that has to happen, like the UN has to get on board to do sanctioning. Mm-hmm. And for the UN to do fucking anything, sanctioning.
I know, I agree.
We can't even get like weapons sanctions on people who are moving nuclear weaponry, but we got sanctions on this.
I agree. I do agree that something fishy is going on, but I will have to be busting out the tinfoil roll in just a minute.
All right. Okay? All right. Maybe China's the only thing protecting us from this fucking devil dance troupe.
Right.
I'm sorry. Okay. What's going on? Now you got me all conspiracy. I'm like, okay, maybe it's a good thing that they're getting fucking murdered.
Okay. Okay. Hold on to your panties.
Okay.
Okay. So, data from within China suggests that millions continue to practice Falun Gong there in spite of the persecution. Outside of China, Falun Gong is practiced in over 70 countries, with, as of 2008, estimates on the numbers ranging from roughly 40,000 to several hundreds of thousands. And, you know, now they're in the U.S., free, loving it, headquarters in New York. Mm-hmm. So I know we probably all feel bad for them right now.
No, I'm too suspicious at this point.
Right? We should. Okay, let's just agree that we should feel bad for them. Okay?
We should, but now I don't.
No matter what, we should feel bad. We are feeling bad for them. We will feel bad for them.
They're a little bit of the underdog in this situation, but
I would say, 2,000 people dying in custody is.
I personally don't want my organs harvested. I'll give you that. Unless they're taking I don't know, something I don't need.
Like your little toe?
Like my tonsils to save a puppy.
That's fair. I would also do that. So let's all say, sorry, Falun Gong and Shen Yu, that these things happened to you. Glad you're in the U.S. with religious freedom. Or am I?
No!
Because now that the group has escaped to mainly the U.S. and is based in New York, they've found a place in the U.S. and most notably in U.S. politics.
They've infiltrated.
And have received notable media attention for their political involvement in ideological messaging, particularly since the 2016 presidential election. Are you ready?
Oh my God. Are they fucking Republicans?
Oh, baby. You bet they are. Falun Gong includes not just Shen Yun, but the Epoch Times, which may ring a fucking bell to you because they are a politically far-right media entity that has received significant attention for promoting in-fucking-sane conspiracy theories. Like, it goes Breitbart and then the Epoch Times.
Dude, Epoch Times was all over Parler when we were infiltrating it. That was 99% of the... And it's conspiracy theories those are the blood conspiracy theories, or how Lil Nas did the Satan shoes as a joke. It was the Illuminati is trying to do mass ritual. Mm-hmm. It was stuff like that, but then
it is the biggest perpetuator of QAnon.
I was just gonna say, this is the fucking undergarments of QAnon. They are wearing it. Yes. QAnon, this is like the foundation of every fucking outfit of the far right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Yep. It's a part of the Epic Media Group, which also operates New Tang Dynasty TV and the Epic Times YouTube channel. It is blocked in, that's actually supposed to say 36 or 39 countries. 36, 38, 39, one of those. And the New York Times has called it a, quote, global scale misinformation machine. They were the second largest funder of pro-Trump Facebook ads during his campaign, and obviously paid a fuck ton of money to help perpetuate false info on his opponents.
Dude, these people are gonna dance their way right back into the White House.
They have, dude. They literally have. Trump was retweeting them constantly. And these are the motherfuckers who are like, JFK Jr. is still alive and he's going to be Trump's running mate in 2024. That's who these motherfuckers are. Like they aren't dancing their way back into the White House. They literally already have. They were like, okay. They financially benefited from the promotion of Trump conspiracies, increasing its revenue nearly fourfold during the first 3 years of the Trump administration, from $3.9 million in 2016 to $15.5 million in 2019. And they specifically catered to Trump's most adherent supporters. And even Trump was like, Epic Times is going to be the next big thing. Like, they're going to be, watch out for them, love their shit, doing all that.
That's the type of media when people are saying, like, oh, all media is like fake news. This is one of the few where people are like, it's not fake news, but it's the most fake news.
Yes, 1,000%. They are well known for such articles as the Trump Spygate conspiracy theory, which Trump initiated in May of 2018, that Obama had placed a spy in his cabinet to spy on him. Okay? They were like click-clacking away, and Trump was like, oh my God, thank you, Epic Times, for fucking believing me. Y'all rule. They fully support, and still do, spread everything QAnon. Like, every single Q drop. They were, obviously, as we know, Q is like dead now a little bit, but obviously it's still going.
Yeah.
As we have seen the big revival of the whole JFK Jr. is still alive thing. But they were one of the publications that were taking Q drops and summarizing it, doing like a TLDR for all the boomers who couldn't understand Reddit, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, they were literally the pillar in which QAnon got built on when it came to Facebook specifically. They are big time writers of the upcoming Judgment Day. That COVID, here's a fun one. Get ready for this. That COVID, or what they call the CCP virus, is a bioweapon by China. Yes, you heard it here first, folks. The China virus, or COVID, is a Chinese bioweapon, never came from Trump. It came from the Epoch Times.
Those ballerina motherfuckers.
Trump got it from. Okay?
I will be damned if our nation falls to some reject fucking what's even, I don't even know. Even river dance is respectable. They keep their arms all stiff and kick their legs in the air. That was the most delicious fact I've ever read. Like, we're gonna fall to dollar store ballerinas.
Absolutely we are, dude. Like, every little what sounded like racist Chinese things Trump was saying about COVID, he got from them. Because guess who also is big time anti-China? Falun Gong and Shen. Okay?
Oh my God.
The only person who hates China more than Republicans in the United States is Falun Gong and Shen. And that's why Trump and his administration and all of his followers felt so fucking validated that, COVID is a Chinese bioweapon because motherfuckers from China told them that.
And they're giving him millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And they're acting like religiously persecuted because when you hear their story, you immediately are going to side with them because like we're all eating the propaganda machine that's like, dude, fuck China right now, which fuck them a little, but like fuck these guys twice.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Joker had a baby and the baby is somehow worse. You know what I mean? It's like Voldemort was bad.
Dances.
Yeah, it's like Voldemort was bad, but the most hated person was Umbridge. And you thought she was on your fucking side because she played the game. Nah, man. Voldemort was shitty, but Umbridge, we all cheered when that bitch got taken by the centaurs.
It's true.
Oh my God, they've infiltrated Hogwarts.
Yeah. The Dementors are in the school, babes. Okay? They also have written anti-Black Lives Matter articles. They are one of the biggest perpetuators of like Antifa is a gang and this is where it all like circles back because what is fascism? Fascism is most historically known as the Nazi Party. If they are writing articles that are anti-fascism, doesn't their symbol feel a little different now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Coming from inside the house.
Always is, babes. Always fucking is. They are now banned on Facebook, but the damage they did is insane and literally historical. They'll go down as like some of the media that started the whole fake news and like social media like propaganda phenomenon that we now have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So let's circle back to that paragraph about this entire like cabinet of people from the US government say with their victims of communism. I'm real fun. Like, doesn't it all, this is where I have to like roll out my tinfoil. Okay, everything I said up until this point is fact, not fiction. But I'm going to pull out my tinfoil now because doesn't knowing what they do and did taint the history of everything we just heard? Doesn't it put a little bit of a lens on what they're saying happened to them?
What we want to happen is an underdog story where somebody triumphs and like overcomes all of the obstacles in their way. But what we're seeing is like fucking villain origin story here. They outplayed the game, man, and they're going to keep playing it. Like when you're going up against like the government and you're able to like out sneak them, motherfucker, they're Umbridge all over the place. I can't. My mouth has been open this like whole time. I'm like so shocked, and the fact that I just Googled their tickets in Salt Lake City for March sold out. Basically, their cheapest tickets are $80. Like we can't even afford to go in there and protest them. We have to stand outside with the poors.
Yeah, man, it's unreal. And so there you go. There it is, you guys. That is how Shen Yun, the supposed true culture of China dance performance, is just a front for a quote-unquote religious organization that supports QAnon, Judgment Day, anti-science, anti-COVID, pro-Trump, anti-Black Lives Matter, anti-evolution. I'm trying to think what else they've posted about. Pretty much, it kind of makes the original statement by the Chinese Communist Party, where they said this organization preaches heretical fallacies that are anti-humanity and anti-science and exercise extreme mental manipulation of followers. It is a cult that seriously harms the society and violates human rights and is a cancer in the body of the modern and civilized society. It makes that quote hit a little fucking different now, doesn't it?
You've made me eat crow, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I'm so gooped. This shit is so scary too. It's always like the wolf in sheep's clothing. Like if you're going to be a villain, I want you to say it with your chest. These motherfuckers are like popping the trunk on villainry. They're pulling up and you're like, Girl Scout cookies? No, it's an Uzi and you're dead.
1,000%. 1,000%. And it's a tough position to be in because I do believe that they were probably persecuted against in China. I do believe that physical harm, abuse, torture, and death did happen to their followers. I do believe that. Mm-hmm. But is it because China saw what they could do and maybe did, just like we are seeing what they've done here? So that's where I leave you guys, with Shen Yin and Falun Gong.
There's no way to even combat it either.
Nope. So, how do you feel about it?
You know, these last 2 weeks in a row have been like real zingers for me. Like Mother Teresa and now this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shen Yun, the genetic opera. That's what it is.
Shen Yun, the genetic opera.
That's the title of the episode now.
Okay, good. But yeah, so I have a lot of feelings, essentially. I have a lot of feelings. It's just it's a tough pill to swallow, because I will admit, like in the beginning, I was for them. I was very like pro Shen Yun. I was like, and Falun Gong. I was like, why is everyone mad at these motherfuckers trying to do yoga? Yeah. And then I was like, oh, just kidding. I'm gonna roll up your yoga mat and beat the shit out of you with it.
Yeah, you want to know what's on the other side of the yoga mat? Swastikas. So, prove me wrong.
Yeah. Literally, yeah, though. So, you know, I also want to let any Shen Yun and Falun Gong members and supporters listening right now that I know that you try to say that the Chinese Communist Party sends fucking spies and moles to infiltrate everything you're doing in the United States to start anti-propaganda against you. And I'm here to say that's not what we are. We started out liking you. In the famous Tyra Banks, we were all rooting for you.
We're all rooting for you.
And then you let your mouth do all the talking. And it showed us exactly what we needed to see. The Chinese Communist Party didn't have to spend a fucking penny on us. And you did it all for yourself.
The town of Footloose was right.
We Kevin have to Bacon ban dance.
Has been an enemy.
We have to ban dance. We have to make dance illegal.
Make dancing illegal again.
That's the shirt. Make dancing illegal again.
Oh my God.
If you've been to a Shen Yun performance, please hit us up. I would love to know what it was like, because it's basically, to them, it would be like if the Bible was a musical dance experience. So I think that would be very interesting to hear. And you can reach out to us on any of our social media platforms. We're Go to Hell Podcast on Instagram, Twitter. Find us on Facebook with Chelsea and Noelle Go to Hell. Or you can also support us on Patreon for $1. The links to everything are in our link trees, which are in the descriptions or bios of all of our profiles. You can also get merch or a link to Kelly Holloran or Wildwood Owl's Etsy shop with her stickers and pins. That's just where everything lives. Or you can tell us how much you hate us and how we're pro-China in our own personal DMs. I'm at Noelle Fain, and that's at Sith Lord.
I would rather somebody yell at me in my DMs than have to think about this anymore.
It's fun, right?
It is fun.
It's a tough place to be, because when an organization says, like, we were fucking murdered and rounded up, you want to be like, oh my God, no. And then you find out that they're trying to do some fucked up shit here, and you're like, maybe.
It's very much like that gif where the guy's like holding his drink and he's like,
yeah,
looking around like, not my problem.
Yeah.
So it's the trash taking the trash out.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. So yeah, or if you're a Falun Gong member yourself, talk to us. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
No, we wouldn't. I don't want your tricky. I don't want you to like tap dance Morse code in like binary language or something and fuck with my head. I got bigger shit to worry about, like Antarctica. Now I got to worry about cults an hour away from my home. They could be in my neighborhood. This is why the Red Scare took root. I
know. They're coming, dude. When are they going to be here?
They've been here the whole time.
They're here right now? They're setting up shop?
Dude, Google Falun Gong, Salt Lake City, and it's like articles of like Falun Gong taking root. And none of it's negative. But like, so I Googled Falun Gong, Salt Lake City. And the first thing is like Friends of Falun Gong, truthfulness, compassion, forbearance are the 3 core values of the practice. It's a big day for Utah's Falun Gong followers. They're going to join millions of fellow believers to commemorate blah, blah, blah.
Oh, they're here, baby.
Free meditation classes at 600 East, 900
Should we take one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's on their Facebook page.
Hell yeah. Yeah, they have to use the Falun Gong Facebook page and not the Epic Times one because they're banned.
Yeah, and it's just their cover photo is just 3 white blonde children meditating.
Nothing says the 5,000 years of historical Chinese relevance in history like 3 blonde white children.
Yeah. And it's also hard for me to know what else is going on because I think for some reason Facebook put everything in Spanish. So I have to like just. Oh, it's been like that for months and I don't know how to change it.
Oh, well, you know what? Learn Spanish.
I know enough. I know enough to know that fotos is photos.
I just want you guys to know that while Falun Gong apparently is here right now in our own backyards, their prettier sisters, Shen will be here March 9th through March 12th.
And tickets are expensive. The cheapest were $80 that I saw.
God. And there's also a fucking ticketing fee. And if you check it out, it says Shen Yun, China before communism. So once again, tapping in on that, like, hey, Republicans, we hate the red state. Incredible. Children under 5 are not admitted. It is a 2-hour and 15-minute performance, including an intermission. So.
And they are like sold the fuck out.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Oh my God.
So there you go. Merry Christmas, you guys. Happy holidays. Whether you celebrate or not, if there's one thing we can agree on, it's fuck them.
Yeah. Krampus would never do this to us.
No, Krampus would throw them in the handbasket and drag them to hell.
Bless his heart. All right. I'm
glad I got that off my chest.
Yeah, thanks for this. Thanks for letting us all suffer.
You're welcome.